and record the session. Okay. Right, so I think before we crack on with the next, so today we're going to look at roofs again, ceilings, floors, curtain systems, and we're just going to look at stairs and ramps. So we're just going to go through these tools again. So I just want to quickly recap. Last week we covered walls and that, so I just want to let you guys know that I've started uploading. So if you go to Revit tutorial videos, I sent out an announcement. I'm starting to put so I showed you the interior model that I did last year, so I'm starting to upload the videos on how I started preparing this model. So you can go and watch both. There's about 10 videos in total, but I'm having to cut them up and kind of edit them. There is stuff missing here and there. It was a bit tricky to film it all in one sitting, so I've made little chunks. So, and each step I've made will cover certain topics. So here you can go and see how I've created that interior model step by step. Okay. In addition to that, I've also, if we go to the Revit lessons section, I've uploaded, so creating walls and creating floors, which we covered last week. I know when we got to roofs and that, we kind of ran out of time, but I'd scheduled these first 2 weeks just to cover the essential tools, just so that you can get modeling. Okay. So you'll see that I'll keep adding all of them here. And just remember that you can use that Revit help function. You can just Google Revit 2020. You can go and, if you need some additional information, you can get that information there as well. Okay. The next thing I just want to cover was just something that I've picked up. Let me go back to this. For the architectural students, I've uploaded, I know that your site assignment, your SDP, your site development plan, I'm just going to cover some, because I think some of you are not exactly sure what a SDP is, for example, site development plan. I uploaded I think it was an announcement. I'll need to edit here. Sorry, I'll edit there as well. Okay. So site information. I sent out an announcement for those students, the architectural students. Here's the site information for Brooklyn, for example. I'm just going to download this very quickly onto my desktop. I just want to quickly run through this very quickly. Okay, something that I have picked up with the latest Revit 2020, which I'd covered a video in my previous quarter regarding how to change when you make contour plans. The latest version of 2020, when you move the project base point, it no longer moves the project. So something, I don't know why they've changed this function. Sorry guys, let's see what's going on in the chat. Do you know, I'll check that. You should be getting those announcements. I'll double check that. So just what I'll do is as well, please just let everyone know in the class that I've put the Brooklyn site information. I will also make the link available in the CAD content area as well. I'm going to also make it available here, but in the announcement, I shared this information. So let me just quickly show you what the file has. I'm just going to do this very, very quickly. So insert, so import CAD, desktop, Brooklyn. Just remember this GIS stuff is always in meters, so force it to be meters. And I always say manual, I want the center, so it centers this drawing. Usually these are very far from the origin. So bring it in. And I'm aware this is your site here. I've noticed that the information that you were given from the lecturers, it was a 30 by 30 meter site. So just adjust the site to join. As per your original brief, I think it was 23 meters, if I remember correctly. And this is GIS information. It was 23 meters by something. Okay. All right, just remember, this is very far from your origin, and these are the correct contours. So just move. Don't worry, it won't snap because it's very far from the origin, but that's fine. That's enough to work from. Okay, so I've just centered it around my project base point, and I'm just very quickly going to create the topper surface. Okay, there's your topper surface. Now, just remember this is quite high up, so you just need to change this to 1450000. Copy this value. Okay, so I'm seeing my contours. I've just adjusted my view range. I have to move this down again, so we can fix that in a minute, but just want some labels. Okay, and change this one to 1000. Okay, so I want these labels. I've just got to adjust my site very quickly. I want this to work in intervals of 1000 for my primary range, and again this is going to be 1500000. Control C, insert. This is a multi-value. We'll change this stuff again, just bear with me, press apply, and that will be at 5, that'll be 250 intervals, press apply. Okay. All right, so my site is more or less, I want to use this 138800. Just remember, change this to meters. Sorry guys, this won't take too long, 2 decimal places. Okay, so the site the level that I want to use for the site is this 1388. Okay, now because in Revit 2020 this function doesn't work by adjusting the elevation anymore, so you need to move this relative to your. So the first thing I do is I go to any elevation, I grab the topper surface and I move it down by 1388000 because that's my 0 level for my site. Okay, don't worry, that's an AutoCAD file. My topper surface will now be more or less on the correct level. Okay, now this is where the change comes in. So in the past, I could have gone to VG, I could have gone to site, and I could have switched to my project base point, and I could have moved my project base point up. But now look what happens, nothing moves. They've changed this. Okay, so what you have to do now is you need to go to architecture, manage, and you need to go to position. You need to relocate project. All I'm going to do is move everything up 138800. Okay, I go to my level. If I go to my site plan now, you would have seen this would have changed to 0 because that's my ground floor level. But select these again, and I'm going to make them reference my survey point, and everything should be working perfectly going forward. Okay. All right. So, and one last thing, just adjust your site again. So you need to go to massing and sites. So for example here, this one I could say minus 5000, and this will be, I can just leave that where it is. Select all of this, this will be minus 5000 as well. Okay, press apply. Okay, there I'm seeing all my levels. Okay, so here you've got your contours for the site roughly. There seems to be a plateau here, but now you've got your contours and the site's moved accordingly. I've noticed the latest version doesn't quite work. It reports it correctly, but if you move the project base point, it doesn't change everything. Okay, so guys, what I'll try and do is I'll try and see why you're not getting those emails or the notifications. Okay, great. So that was just the difference with Revit and 2020. Okay, so that's what's happening with this. Okay, all right. So we've got a topography in the right place, and once you're done, once you've got everything out, you can get rid of the AutoCAD file. there's your topography. Okay. Anyway, we'll stay in this file for now. I'll keep everything in here. All right, so that's our site, my levels. Okay, great. Okay, just before we get carried away, yes, just to let you guys know, I know that they're doing a lot of updates to the Blackboard thing currently. So Blackboard in general and ClickUp. I know that they've been working on it. So I will take this and I'll just put in a request and find out why you are not all receiving your notifications. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Right, let's just quickly go back to, I just want to show you this very quickly. Oh, no, that's something else. Okay. Okay, guys, just a quick clarification. What is an SDP? Site Development Plan. Okay, Site Development Plan. Generally, what you're trying to do with the Site Development Plan, you give them the site plan. This is slightly different. This is retail because I'm showing where proposed but generally a site, it will look the same. So the whole building will be covered in red and existing stuff on site will be covered in gray. Okay, I'll show a key now. But in essence, all that we're trying to do is we're trying to show them what's been developed. The important thing to put on your SDP is your rights as well. So you guys have started looking at coverage and all that kind of thing. So, and the next critical thing is we try and give them street elevations. So it's just the elevations that you see from the street, just so that they are aware of what's going to be developed on the site. So just like entrances, and these elevations, let me just show you this. This is a better example. So you can see here's a road here. So what you see from this road and what you see from that road. Mine, we used to do it in color mostly, but you can see it, the elevations, it's purely what you're seeing from the street. And don't worry about the back elevation. So usually your SDP, it will include a site plan, a site development plan, okay? And it will include some elevations where what you would view from the street. So it's the street elevations in essence, okay? It's just to give the council an idea of what you're developing. Yeah, I'll just go here again. Here you can see we had 3 on this side, for example. There was a street at the back here. There was a street here, and there was a street here. So you could see it this way, and from the back. Okay. All right. So that's that. Okay, guys, the next thing I just want to do is I want to just touch base with you which days would work when we could have little workshops. So if you guys are getting stuck and battling, I want to schedule some days which we can have open as a workshop. I know that on Mondays and Tuesdays you guys have your con studio time. Or we can use Thursdays maybe. What day would work the best for us to maybe, if you guys are getting stuck, we can schedule appointments and we can do like little workshops which are geared more towards your project. So as you're developing your projects, I'd like you guys to share your screen where you're getting stuck. So I just want to find a good day that will work, that will work for you guys. Yeah, Friday, we could probably do that Friday, but I'd like to cover our class on Friday. But I'm wondering if Thursday would be a good day, because it's an open day for me as well, where we can all we can have sessions, meetings where we can just meet up. And if you guys are getting stuck and you want to kind of ask me for help, how to progress a certain element of your design or your construction project. So if we can make it Thursdays will be great. I know that you've got con as well. Con on certain days, we can maybe look at those. But I think if you guys are happy with Thursday, that's great. I think we'll stick to Thursday. Okay, that would be great. So Thursday, what we can do is I could open up another session, maybe using Blackboard, or I'll just see how it goes in the beginning. Thursdays will then work great. And then what I also want you to maybe consider, there's a neat app for Chrome, which is called Chrome Remote desktop. What it allows me to do, it allows me to maybe take control of your computer while we're in a meeting, so that if you are getting stuck in Revit, for example, I don't have to keep saying up, down, left, right, that kind of thing. So it's a way that I can take control. It's very easy to install. You literally just say, no, Chrome remote desktop. TeamViewer would also work, but it means that you all have to go and install TeamViewer as well. And I have to purchase TeamViewer through our department, which we're trying to do at the moment. Chrome Remote Desktop is free. It's totally free, and it works with the Chrome suite, which is nice. And all it does, it'll just give me access to that certain application, and it's very easy to install. So I'm willing to try this. If this doesn't work too well, as I said, I'm in the process of trying to get a license for TeamViewer for our department. Okay. Okay, but it's very user friendly. This remote desktop. I mean, I've got it installed. It actually works quite well. I've been trying it out a bit. Totally free, and it works with your browser. Okay, it sits here in your browser, and you can literally just click here. And yeah, so it's up to you. We can maybe try it in the beginning and just see. Yeah, so it works exactly the same like TeamViewer. Okay. All right, so Thursdays is great. Fantastic. All right, so now let's get to what we're going to cover today. All right, so just a quick recap using walls. I'm just going to create a very quick cavity wall because I need to use the wall with some floors and a roof. So I'm just going to look at using a roof at the moment. So I'm just going to create some levels. I'm just going to use the level tool because then it creates all the correct views for me. Right, let's do it the other way around. Okay, so this will be 3.2. That'll be 6.4. Just getting some levels set up. Okay, go to my floor plan. It's going to create some walls. I'll just use 230 walls for this exercise. There's a video on how to go and create these. I'm just going to change so it's going to be height. It'll be up to level 2, and I want to use my walls. Just do the command again. That's one. So the masonry wall, core face exterior, and I'm going to use a rectangle, and I'm just going to make this 5,000 by 8,000. Okay, do this to the middle. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is just make sure my walls go into the ground. So 510 minus 510. We've got a 3D view. You'll see that they'll cut into the site, which is what I want. Okay, so on level 0, if I want to see the site below, I can say level below minus 500, just so you can see a bit of context of the site. View range, yes, level below. Go to VG and switch on my topography. Okay. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do very easily is just go and create a floor, architectural floor. I'm going to use my surface bed for this. Okay, I'm just going to create some sections and move my elevation markers. In my series of videos of how I created the interior model, you'll see how I go and set all this up. Just moving everything closer so it's easier to manage. Let's move this back. You don't want your elevation marker behaving like a section. And then I'm just going to create a section very quickly. These are just very quick working sections, so at least I can see. Okay, just remember here, our node cuts to the earth. We can sort that out very quickly. How we sort that out very quickly, so if I go to level 0 and I go to massing and site, and I put a building pad, and I just select tab, it will select all the inside of the walls. Okay, just remember this will be -125, so it sits beneath my okay, so here's my building pad. Your building pad's usually in layers of 150. There's your building pad. So that just sits there. I usually make this 150, and I usually make this layer full. I usually just use a full layer, and then this is also substrate. Okay, but in essence, here I'll probably just quickly add the full. I think I have got the full layer ready. I hope I have. Okay, I don't. I'll have to make that material, so I'll leave it out for now. Anyway, let me just change that. It must be 150. 150. Okay. Apply. Okay. Anyway, so that's your surface bed, and I'm going to select or tab all the walls. They must go to level. Okay, why should it give me all the walls? Why doesn't it do that? Masonry walls. That's why. Let's go to level 2. Okay, go to my elevations. Just quickly set up my levels so that they start reading more correctly. Okay, go to my section. Okay, section view. Okay, great. 2, then let's go to there. All right. What I'm going to do now is going to grab my slab. I'm going to copy it. So copy, paste, align to selected level 1. And just remember this will be a. Okay, sometimes we'll expand the core into the center line of the wall, for example. So maybe just quickly look at that. So generally what I try and do is close hidden. So what I try and do is have my section over, and then I can tile views. Tile views. So here I want my elevation and sections. So if I go in here and I go and say edit its boundary. So let's grab this for example, edit boundary. It doesn't matter, open view. I can get rid of this view again, because in this view it's open here, and then all I have to do is just offset that by 115 into the, just click the offset tool again, and then it will, there you go, finish. And then you can just use your drawing tool. Okay, so go to modify, join. Just remember, if you want to see it, if you want to view it correctly, just use this override. 5, 5, 4. It's okay, apply. And it looks correct. Okay. So in a nutshell, we're kind of getting familiar with how we're using our walls and our floors. Now the last one we were looking at were the roofs. Okay. So let's go to level 2. So the first option you have for a roof. Okay, so the first option you have for the roof itself. Okay, this is not looking correct. Why is this not correct? It'll rearrange. There's an underlay on. No, there's no underlay. To say 5. Okay. All right. So for our roof, what we want to do is draw our roof boundary. So go to architecture. So the roof. So we've got different options here. I'm going to show you both. So the first one I'm going to look at is roof by footprint. Okay, and I'm going to select. Let's go to level 1. I want to select these walls over here. Okay, so I'm just going to do the roof plan in level 1. So I'm going to pick the walls I can use the pick wall tools. Just means if I use the pick wall tools, if the wall moves, it will move with the wall automatically. And I'm just going to offset it so it's the exterior side. So for my gable ends, their overhang is usually only 150. Okay, and the overhangs where you've got a pitch is usually in the region of 350, 300. Okay. All right, just remember, I don't want my gable ends to have a pitch, so I say defined slope, and I want these to have a slope of 35 degrees or 30 degrees. Okay, finish. Okay, go to 3D view. So there it's created my roof. Okay, now then just going to have a look at the roof structure itself. I want to change this ever so slightly, so I'm going to say rename. I'm going to call this tiles. Okay, so with a tile roof, you're going to have a substrate, a substructure, which is about 50 mils, which is your tiles. Okay, here I'm just going to use tiles for now. I hope there is roof tiles here already. Roofing tiles, that will work. Then I'm going to insert another layer. Okay, so this will be my core boundary. So this will be substrate as well. And this is going to be your batten, a 38 timber batten, for example. And I'm going to include one more, which will be, you can make the structure. I'm just going to leave everything as substrate or finish. Okay, here, this will be a 114 timber roof truss. Okay, these we can quickly give them a material of timber. Structure timber. Technically, it's the same material for both. So you can double click, select everything in here, Control C, Control V. Okay, no, doesn't like it. Didn't get the whole layer. Yep. Okay, so here I just want to edit this material quickly. Okay, so when it comes to determining its substrate, and it's just, I'll explain this in a second when we use the override of the line material, but generally you want structure to join with structure, substrate to join with substrate. So if another roof had to join this, it's just how they join. So you give objects or you give layers hierarchy so that a structure will always join with structure. A substrate will always join with substrate. And I'll show that when I draw a section of wall as well. Okay, the joining condition also, if it's within a core, it also works within the core of the core function as well. Okay, but it's just how things join, and it's how Revit will also read. If it does structural analysis, it reads, it knows what is structure, what is substrate, what is. Okay, so that's why we give them classifications. Okay, so this, let's get rid of the thermal, we don't need that. Yes, and here I'm just going to replace this asset, and I'm just going to use it in appearance, and I'm just going to find timber wood. I'll just call this South Africa, we use oak. No, pine, sorry, pine, just use normal little pine. Apply, press OK. Just change one last setting here so it looks correct. Use render material, apply. Okay, all right, so I'll just leave this all as substrate. Okay, so press OK, press apply. Okay, now it's changed the appearance of my roof. If I go to my section now, sorry, if I go to my section, what it does is it divides the wall up into the different layers. Okay, BG. It should be using the same principle like we use here. Okay, but this roof is not showing exactly the same as it should, but anyway. Generally what I do with the roof, let's go to VG, imported object styles. Okay, roofs, generally because we use concrete, you use quite a thick layer. Sometimes I will scale this down, but generally what I do is I get rid of this information later on. A lot of this information I do get rid of. Okay. I'm just going to quickly edit this as well. So that's, I can maybe make, yeah, I'll leave it exactly as it is. Substrate, this I can maybe make finish, press OK, apply, okay. And then just make, and you can see how it's adjusting the line weights. I'm going to make this finish as well.
Doors closing.
So that works a bit better because now it's showing me that's my roof tiles. The rest of the stuff you hardly see in here. You're going to put in your timber battens and that kind of thing. Okay. All right. So that's one way you create a roof. Okay. Once you've got a roof, you can tab all of the walls and you can attach them to the roof. Okay. So it closes off the. Let me just get rid of the site because it attaches them to the roof. Okay. Let's go to section. Now you can see that this is joining that, so substrate is joining to substrate, which is correct because this stuff goes through and they'll build the roof up to the underside of the roof sheeting. Okay, but it makes a join, so here you might have to use some line work to show how the roof goes past. So in essence, that's starting to look correct, but we do annotate a ridge capping and we do draft over a lot of this, but at least I've got my top rafter, so my bottom rafter I can just draft in. But there's another video where I will show you where I only use the tile layer and I actually make a family of a truss that I use instead of using this technique. But this is a very quick way to give you your build up of your roof. Okay, so this is where your battens would sit, for example. This is where your battens would sit, and you can use a component here, which will be a timber section. Okay, and that will be a 38 by 38 timber batten, for example. Duplicate, and that will be a 38 by 38. Look, this is different for steel construction as well, because you get different sizes, but in essence, I'm just going to give you guys a principle. So there's your batten. Okay, this is at quite a big scale, so if I went 1 to 50, there's my batten, and it's the correct size. Okay, and you can use duplicated families to get that right, but here are my roof battens in essence. Okay, so once you've got a roof in place, what's neat about once you've got your roof in place, I can then start adding my gutters, for example. So I can put my gutter on here, put my gutter on here. All right, I can go back to architecture, roofing. I can put a fascia board now. So I want a fascia board over here and there. Generally, we put fascias on this side as well. And then your gutter sits off it. So here's your fascia board just to close the roofs, eaves and verges. Okay. So if I go to my section now, so here I've got my, and then these I just need to offset, so vertical offset, horizontal offset, so that will be offset by 15, for example, and it might be offset down by a certain amount. Okay. Yeah, look, that timber batten will only be invisible in section, because it's pretty a drafted object. You don't want to go and model every batten. Trust me, it's not worth your while. So when you cut a section through, and it's an object that you never see, you never really see it other than through a section. So if you're taking 3D views and all that kind of thing, you don't model it. That's why I use Revit's families to kind of give me this information. Okay. And there's a technique, I'll show you how I draft in this. So this will have to drop, because this will drop minus 50, for example, because that's where, so maybe minus 70, because this sits beneath this top layer over here. Okay, so does this. So this horizontal offset minus 70, for example. Okay, then this layer will go past. But what's neat, so in 3D view, in essence, this top layer will go into the gutter. But from elevation purposes, this is perfect. For your model, this is perfect. But maybe for your section, it's not strictly true. So what I can do is you've got two options. I draft a lot of this in, and I'll explain that later. That's something we'll cover in a later session. But in essence, what you can do now is in view, you can go and you can change the cut profile. You can change how this profile works. So in essence, this will go past a bit, and this is usually at a, okay, and then I'll finish the command. It should have, don't know why it didn't work. Switch off line weights. I don't think I joined it correctly. This must be in that direction. There we go. Okay. So in essence, that's what happens when you get to your. No, you literally copy and paste. So from this view, you can copy these and you can paste them into the next view. But for that, for example, let me just show you this quickly. For that one, I'd say it's a repeating detail. Edit type, I'll duplicate this and make a new one. Timber stud. Sorry, I'm making this very quickly. Here I would go and find my timber section. 38 by 38, and these usually repeat by 600 mil from center to center, fixed distance. So here I'll probably say maximum spacing, make it 650. Okay, press OK. And here I would go and draw in my, okay, so here I would go and draw these in. So this is really quick. So that's how my stud work will work. And then I'll use these spare ones. So say now the spacing doesn't quite work, but it might work for this. So if it probably stops there and starts there. But this one, what's neat about it, you can, sometimes you can hide these, but generally that's where your spacing will stop, and I'll put two ones there, and then I'll draft in my. So this is very easy, and to mirror this, quite straightforward and easy. And you can duplicate this to the next view. So you can see I've done my roof detail very quickly. I just have to show where my bottom truss goes in. But in essence, you can see that I've got my fascia boards, I've got my gutters in place, and 3D view. Okay. So generally, sometimes this differs. So you might have to play around with this a bit. Okay. So you can never get a perfect situation, but it does give you enough from which to work. Okay. So generally, I'll put the fascia board up and I'll draft around it. But at least from a 3D perspective, it looks correct. Okay. All right, that's in a nutshell. So very quickly, I've got my section going, I've got my slab going, and you can see a lot of your drafting's done already. Okay, so let's get rid of this roof. So now there's another option to do a roof. Okay, so architecture. Okay, let me just go back. Say now, for example, I edit this roof plan now because I want to have a pitch on either side. So if I go back here and I say, actually, this needs to be offset 350 as well. Okay, and the pitch needs to be defined slope. That also needs to be 30 degrees. Look what, and I'm going to show you what happens now. If I go back to my view. Okay, so to adjust these roofs on the fly is very easy. You just have to re-establish your gutters all the way around. So here you'll just need to add, and you can add your gutters all the way around. And because it's established with the roof already, okay, there and there. And then the last command you can add is a soffit, for example. So architecture, roof, you can add soffit boards as well. Level 1, yes, and you can select. Now soffit board works slightly differently. So I'm going to use level 2, and I'm going to use my X-ray view. Because your soffit board will go from that side of the, so it's creating a plan view in essence. So your soffit will be from the inside side of the fascia and the exterior side of the wall. So here I'm going to use tab tool. It'll try and find, sometimes it'll try and find all of them, but let's find the exterior side of the wall. Okay, and let's say there, I want that side of the wall, I want this side of the wall, I want this side of the wall. Okay, I think it hasn't picked the, so here I'm just going to switch this off. It's picked some strange line there for some reason. Just sometimes with model hatches, it'll try and select the hatch, so that's one thing you're just going to be cautious of. Okay, so there we go. That's all I want to do. And then one more line here, pick line, and you can make them slope as well. Okay, it's telling me there's an open edge. Okay, use my trim tool. Okay, I know there's an open edge. Trim there and there. Finish. Okay, if I go to my section, you might have to adjust your soffit. Okay, this is my soffit here, which is not great. It should be very thin. This is usually only 15 mil. Okay, and it's going to be on level 2. Now you can move it down, so offset minus 100. So here you can adjust it into the correct level. Okay, it's probably going to sit over here somewhere, so minus 250. That's about right. Okay, so if I go to my 3D view, now it's created a soffit board for me. So a lot of buildings will have these soffits as well. Okay, so if I take a quick section box to this, there's my soffit board, there's my fascia board, and there's my gutter. Okay, and then this roof overhangs. There's a technique that I'll show you that I sometimes employ I make a sweep that follows the roof that goes into the gutter. Okay, but in essence, from a 3D view, from your elevations view, it will look correct. Okay. From a section view, you'll just have to do some rework there, but in essence, you get the idea. Okay. All right, so that's one way of creating a roof. Okay, so let's delete this roof. Okay, get rid of the soffit as well. Okay, so the next type of roof you want to create is like a curved roof or an arc roof. Okay, so for this, you've got two options. What I like to do is in my plan view, I like to create a reference plan, and I'm going to create a reference plan here. I'm going to call this reference plan roof. Okay, the reason why I create this reference plane, if I go to 3D view and I say set work plane, and I've named that reference plane, it allows me to work with that reference plane and create a roof from. So if I want to go and create a roof, you can either use an elevation. So if I went to north, let's go to ground floor, I think it's east or west. So you can either work in east or west. Just make sure that you set the work plane for roof here as well and say show. So it'll show the plane that you're working with. So let's have a quick look and see how we use this roof tool. So for this roof by extrusion, it works by using elevation. So I'm going to say roof by extrusion, and I'm going to say it will host on level 2. Here's level 2 here. Now, because I've got a working plane established, so what I can do now is I can use a spline, and sorry, wrong tool. Do that again. I'm sure I clicked that the first time, but anyway. So here I can go and create quite an organic shaped roof. Okay. That's what I want to create, and then say finish. And then if I go to my 3D view, you see it'll create my roof. Okay, but the difference now is in level 2. I'm just going to make this look down. So unlimited, press apply. Okay, so this roof will start. However, here you have to tell it to work from a certain, so that hatch pattern is terrible for the roof. Let me just go and fix that quickly. So roof tiles, what I tend to do for roof tiles is I use a vertical model, usually by 250, press OK, press OK. Remember, make this a light gray so it's not overbearing. Generally for roof tiles and that, I use a vertical. Okay, here you can use a dimension, so from the edge of the wall to the edge of this, and if I tab until I select the edge, I can make this 150 from the edge, for example. Likewise with this, tab until you find the edge of the roof, it'll automatically try and find the closest wall. Okay, so now I've got a nice organic shaped roof. the next thing I need to do is select the roof. Oh yeah, select all the walls, and I can say attach base. Okay. So now I've got a nice organic shaped roof. And you can adjust it. And every time, if you want to adjust the profile, you're going to go to Edit Profile. What's nice is because it's associated to that working plane that I've created, it doesn't matter. I can go to West View, East View. So here, if I go and play with this shape, I can fine tune. And what's great about this now is that it'll keep its relationship to the walls. Okay, so I can do that, for example, finish. And there we go. Keeps its relationship with the walls. Let me just make this perspective so we can read this a bit better. Okay, so, and what's neat is these tools still work. So here I can go and, sometimes I have found that the fascia depends how organic the shape becomes. Sometimes the fascia won't work that well. See, it won't work in that instance. So you'll have to use an in-place family to do that. But it will work well on these types of edges. Okay, but generally that won't need a fascia. You might find you'll only need a fascia on the side with the gutter. Okay, or this might, because you've made it quite thick already, this might just get a gutter, for example. Okay, so you can still use your gutter tool. So here you can say gutter, and I can put my gutter over here. Just remember, you'll need to do your offsets over here, horizontal, vertical, that kind of, okay. So here you can flip it. It gives you those handles to flip it which direction the gutter is supposed to work, up, down. Okay, it just flips the, but in essence, if I go to my section view now, section view, okay, now I've got a nice shaped roof. Okay. Okay, now for the last one, this starts getting quite complicated. Okay, so I'm going to go and create a quick mass. So mass, I'm going to say mass in place. Okay, so I'm going to go mass, in place mass. Press OK. Yeah, that's fine. Call it mass 1. Okay, now I want to create a level 2. I want to create a very organic shaped roof for this building. Okay, and I'm going to use masses. So what I try and do is I'm going to use reference lines every time, and I create a reference line with a series of points. Okay, then what I do is I copy this mass. You'll see what I'll do now. I'm copying this reference plane, sorry. Copy, multiple. I'll make 4 for now. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these lines, and I'm going to say create form. So what it does is it creates a flat shape, but because I've driven it with these lines, what it will start doing is it will start creating a very organic shapes. Sorry, my mistake. Let me just get rid of this one, Sorry, I should have gone to the correct view to do this. Okay, let's get rid of this. Get rid of this one as well. Let's go to level 2. Cancel. Yeah, I'm going to create that. And I want to create cancel. Let's select the shape first, delete, and get rid of that, Okay, so let's go to my east elevation. Okay, and I'm going to set that work plane roof as my work plane. I'm going to create a reference plane here again. I'm going to use this tool here. So here I'm going to make quite an organic shaped roof. Okay, then I'm going to go to my level 1 and level 2. Okay, let's go to north elevation. So I'm going to grab that reference line I created. I'm going to copy it. Copy, and I'm going to say multiple. I'm going to say unconstrained. So I'm going to copy it to the end, and I'm going to copy it one more time, unconstrained, to the middle. I'll copy 2 more. Okay, so let's go to 3D view. So in 3D view, I've got a series of these, and they've got grips that I can work with. So I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to say make. So here I'm going to say create form. Okay, I'm going to finish this, get rid of this roof for the time being. I'm going to go back into my mass, edit place. Now, what's nice about this, if I start moving these grips, you'll see that my roof will start becoming very organic. Okay, so here I can move this point down. So here I can make this one. So grab this end one. So here I can grab this point down. I can grab this point there. So here I can make an extremely organic shaped roof. Okay, so this is quite, you can really go to town with these roofs and how they work. Okay, so here I've got a very organic shaped roof, almost like a mesh material. Okay, so once I've done with the mass, okay, and in my project I want to go and say architecture, roof, by face, pick the face, create roof. There it's created my very organic shaped roof. Okay. And what's neat about it, if I go back into the mass, so if I go edit in place and I go back to this mass and whatever I change, okay, and I say finish, and I grab this roof and I say update face, it leaves a strange pattern on the face of the, it's called that, they call it Z clashing between your, all you have to do is make sure that your mass is no longer visible in the view. So you need to go to massing and site. Here you're going to switch it off. So here I've got a very organic shaped roof. Good luck putting gutters on this. It's going to be almost impossible to put a gutter on here. But I'll show you there is a technique where you can actually use it. But what's also neat is I can select all of these walls and say attach base. Okay, so if I cut a section through here, okay, and you can see that the correct things are trying to join to the correct things. Your structure usually goes to the wall, they build the wall up. Depends, you can make this work in different ways. Okay, all right, so in a nutshell, that's how roofs work. Yeah, true. Okay, guys. So that's roofs in a nutshell. I will be making a series of videos that I'll upload as well, which will give you the nitty-gritty details of it. But I want you guys to start using the tool so you understand, find the restrictions. The last tool that I quickly want to show you is the ceiling plans. Okay, so like a roof plan and a ceiling works exactly the same way, except you're creating a ceiling for the roof. So let's create a ceiling. Generally, most buildings have ceilings. Okay, so let's go to level 0, and I'm going to make a ceiling. Once again, it will automatically create a ceiling for a room, which is what you want. And I want this to be a flush plastered ceiling board. I might go with a 6 to 1200 grid, so you see this a bit better. And from finished floor level to the underside of the slab, usually it's 2.4. So I'm going to say 2.4, and look what happens. I automatically select the room. If I go to my section, it draws my ceiling in. If I go to my 3D view, okay, here's my 600 by 600 ceiling. So let me just change this to shaded contrast. Okay, so there's my 600 by 600 ceiling board with its substructure. Ceilings are made exactly the same way as you would make a floor. Okay, so here you can see my core boundary is my metal stud. It's a metal stud layer, and my finished layer is the ceiling board, which is outside of the core. Okay, and here it's drawn on my ceiling. Okay, and I'll draw another ceiling here just so you get an idea. So level 1, I'm going to draw a ceiling again. So architecture, I'm going to grab a ceiling, and here I'm going to say sketch ceiling. Same thing. I'm going to pick this. I'm not going to draw the ceiling the whole way. I'm going to make it half the building. Okay, and then I'm going to go and draw another section. Okay, so here's and change my level of detail to fine. Okay, just remember you can join these objects, but here's my ceiling. Just one thing to remember, and this is something I'm going to show you now. You have ceiling plan views now that are designed to look at your ceiling. Architectural students, you won't use this that much. Please note the interior students will. Just as a word of warning, generally we leave a shadow line because they can never build walls straight. So we leave a shadow line of 25 mil. So very quickly what I do is I just say offset 25 once I've put them in, click the offset tool again. So generally we leave a shadow line. So you can see on my sitting plan view, here are my, that's my shadow line. And what's cool about this, I can align my ceiling panel system to work with the wall. So you don't cut a lot of tiles. So you're always trying to start somewhere where you're not having to cut. So here I would move this down by 600 because you don't want a small cut. So that it'll be equal cut there and an equal cut there, for example. Okay. Or you try and center the pattern inside the room. But here's your seating plan view. So just remember your floor plan looks down, your seating plan looks up. Okay, so here's your seating plan view. Interior architects, please note that you'll be generating seating plans and you'll need to start working with seating plans as well. And I'll show you these techniques on how to work with these. Okay, but in essence, it gives me all the correct materials to kind of work with. So here's my seating plan, and what's neat is if you want to put your hanger system in, so if I went to annotate component and I went to, there was a detail already here, suspended ceiling, here's my hanger system. Okay, that's where your sitting board sits, and then these stretch up, they actually sit, so you just need to offset where these start, or you make a family that adjusts. But in essence, if you were going to build a bulkhead, for example, in Revit, that's very easy. So let me show you that very quickly. So say now your bulkhead would run around here, then your ceiling would stop. Let me just do that very quickly. I just want to see how much time we got. Okay, we've got some time. So let's make a bulkhead on my ground floor. So I'm going to create a ceiling. So my bulkhead is a ceiling. So you go ceiling. So this will be a lot higher. This will be just beneath the slab. So this will be 2800, for example. And this bulkhead is usually created using a flush plastered ceiling. Here I'm going to say pick sketch. Remember, they always give a shadow line. So tab, you can use the offset tool, 25. And I'm going to select tab, and I must tab the wall. Come on, offset. So let's use pick tool again, tab. Okay. And then I'm going to say offset again. A bulkhead is usually, it depends if you put lighting in or there's a seating tray. So your bulkhead either steps down or steps up. In commercial buildings where you've got shop fronts or glazing, your external side of the building is all glazed. You have a bulkhead that steps up, which I'll demonstrate now. And a bulkhead's usually, it varies. 500, so I'm just going to give it an offset of 500. So I'm going to say pick again. And I'm going to say offset 500. Tab, I just remember, pick line tool again, tab. Okay, all right, so that's my flush plasters. I'll do the setting up now. So this is that's my bulkhead. So here's my suspended ceiling, my bulkhead I'll create in here. Okay, so now I'm going to go and use this guy, edit boundary, level 0. I can go to my ceiling plan 1 now to find so that needs to match this line here. Okay, get rid of this, delete, finish. Okay, so now I'm going to have a bulkhead that comes up here. I'm going to have a series of walls that goes up. Okay, now I do this very, very roughly. I'm going to go and say, now I'm going to create a wall. So I'm going to say architecture wall. But now I'm going to say edit type. I'm going to say duplicate. I'm going to call this plaster board. Okay, and I'm going to tell it, if I go to what type of wall it is, it's a Soffit type of wall. It's a Soffit type interior wall. So that's why you say function is Soffit. You're going to go and edit type. Here you're going to go and say this is going to be, so this is going to be finish 1.4, and I'm going to move that. I'll move this layer up in a minute. I'm going to insert another one, and this will be substrate, and this will be stud. Okay, Okay, I'm going to move. So that's usually about 50 mil. I'll get this from, and this is 12.5. And I'm going to move this up. Okay, press OK. This is very rough for now. This one I'll change to yellow. I'll explain this in a minute. Press OK. Now I'm just going to draw, and it's going to be core face exterior. Just remember, the exterior side is where the finish is. And I'm going to draw a rough series of walls, rectangle. I'm doing this rough because we will fine tune this in section and elevation. Okay. So here's this wall, but this wall generally starts, okay, and it's going to align to there, and it will stop over there. So I'm going to grab this property. So all I can do now is I can go back to my level 0, and yeah, let's go to the section first. I'm going to use the match tool. I'm going to select all of, use match tool, MA. So select this wall here. I'm going to use match properties, which is this over here. I'm going to grab the wall in the distance and this wall over here. And then I'm going to align this exterior face with that. Okay, and now there's one more wall in this direction that I just need to match it with. Okay, so match, find that wall in the distance with that one, done. Okay, and then just align it to the correct. Okay. I see. So this interior, so this might have to come to that face there. But anyway, we'll look at it in a bit more detail. Okay, I think I've moved the wrong thing here. Align, I've moved this. So the wall must move. Align that to the wall. Okay, that's better. Then what you can do is you can join these objects. And it'll make the join correct. So here I just need to make sure which is the correct, which is core, which is not core. So my core layer was, so my finish was my stud. So maybe that's what I need to do to my vertical wall. So here I'll need to say edit type. So edit. So actually my core was my finish. Okay, so my core was my finish. So move this down. I'm going to move this down again. Press OK. Press apply. Okay. And then join. Sometimes they don't join that well, but in essence, in 3D view, because you've got to match the materials as well. So if the materials don't match, then it won't look the same. So in essence, these shouldn't match, because here should be a shadow line, because they make a shadow line where this meets the bulkhead. But these two materials should match. So here, let's go and see what this one is very quickly. So this, I want this gypsum wall board. Okay. So I'll show you what's going on. This is different. So Control C. So these two need to work the same. Okay, and it needs to be the same. So here will be that. Press OK. Press apply. Okay, so it's the same material. Here I just need to make sure that they join correctly. So edit type. So it's finish 1.4, finish 2.5. Okay. Okay. So for this, I'm going to go to edit type, edit. So this one goes up. This one goes down. Okay, so this was 1.5, and I think this was 1.4. Just make sure, don't worry, you can just select all of them and press the offset button. It will fix it very quickly, and I'll sort it out now. So in 3D view, I can quickly sort this out. So use align. Tab until you select this face, and I want the internal face. I just want to show you the joint conditions. I just want to make sure I've got the same materials in the correct location. So it's 1.4, 2.5, 50, yeah, and 15 mil. So this one I'm also going to make 15 mil. 4, 2.5, and then this is 15 mil. Give it a bit of tolerance. Okay, press apply, press OK. And then these guys align. So that face, the exterior face of this. So I'm working in perspective, it doesn't like perspective view. And then you can join these two. Then they'll join correctly. Sometimes this will go past, you just need to stop this face with, and align that with that. Okay, but you get the idea. So here you can join the whole, so here's your bulkhead, here's your ceiling, and here we usually wrap this round a bit. There's usually a 25 mil where this wraps round. Okay, and this will be offset from there by 25 mil. So if we went to your ceiling plan now, for example, for ground floor, here's your bulkhead level, here's your shadow line, and then your ceiling starts. But it doesn't matter, they can switch. Okay. So in essence here, and what's neat is all your structure's done, and here you get all these little shadow line tools that you can pull in. Okay, so these can join now so that they start joining correctly. That's how you want it to look, exactly like that. Okay. So if I went to shaded, for example, because they've been used the correct way, your plasterboard runs. This one, I've got a feeling that this will go to this point and there'll be a shadow line over here. There's different ways how they treat this, okay? So that will go to there, for example. And from here, there'll be a shadow line of 25 mil. So they built the bulkhead down, likewise with this. Okay, this one will need to go into there. There it joins correctly. Okay. All right, so because we've used the techniques, doing this detailing, so you imagine you don't have to draft all the stuff. Because you've got all the detail in here, all you maybe have to do is put the hangers in. So here, again, I'll just show you very quickly. Annotate, components. Here I've got my hanger. Okay, you can make these families up. I'll show you this whole, I think there is a hanger on its own. So let's just go to components. I'm just going to see there is a hanger here. I'm sure there was another hanger, but there's lots of these. You can get all these hangers and that kind of thing off. So here you can put in roof profiles. There's tons of stuff, guys. You can, anyway. But in a nutshell, you get the idea. Okay, switch to my line weights, and you can see these are designed to work in a certain way that your line weights look correct. Okay, there's lots of little bits of detail that we add, and so yeah. All right. Okay, that's that. So that's how you do ceilings. Okay, we'll just have to join these walls, change the scale to the correct scale, 1 to 50. Okay, that's a half ceiling. Here you could have a flush ceiling. These ceilings, if you go to edit plan, you can add, so you can make them slope in a direction as well. Okay, but here you have to work on head and tail, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if I went into this view over here, so it starts at 0 there and goes to -3. I usually pick a line and then work out how much it falls, and then, especially if you've got a ceiling that runs along a sloped, you can slope ceilings. Okay, so that's definitely doable. You can slope ceilings. Let me just go back to that level again, level 2. So edit footprint. Yes, doesn't matter what view you're in. So it will start at 0 there and slope to, okay, so you can say head to tail, or you can say slope, and here you can say slope 30 degrees in that direction. Okay? So that will slope in 30 degrees. Oops. Get rid of that. Okay, so here you need to pick an edge that it defines the slope as well. So here you can say define slope. So this is your slope, okay? And it'll slope in that direction. So it goes in that direction. Okay, slope 30 degrees. So then you can make it follow your ceiling. Okay. So roofs and ceilings will have slopes. And okay, one last thing I just want to show you regarding roofs. So let's make one last roof. This is a concrete roof with, so this last roof will be a flat concrete roof. This will be a flat concrete roof with an upstand, for example, or okay. Generally, for a flat concrete roof, I actually use a floor slab, and I'll explain why. So for a flat concrete roof, let's quickly get rid of this. I know we're going to use a roof tool now, but there's something I need to show you regarding. So here I'm going to make an architectural slab, your flat roof, and it will cover the exterior side of the walls. Okay, let me just pick the outside of the walls very quickly. Okay, so let's go to my 3D view. So here's a flat concrete roof. Edit, and I'm going to say duplicate. I'm going to call this roof slab. Roof slab. Okay. Then generally what they put on a roof slab is they're going to insert, I'm going to say up. Now I'm going to show you there's a trick that you need to do here. They put, it's a thickness, and this varies. This level will vary, this level won't vary. Okay, so this level will stay fixed, but this top level will vary. And then this is a finish 1.4, and then this is usually plaster. So press OK. Now just remember, you need to move this by minus 50, so that your, 50 mil. It needs to be offset from level 2, so the structural level is on the correct level and your finish level is above. The reason why we put this finish for a flat concrete roof is, if I go to my roof now and I start, so say now I've got a full ball in this situation, in this area over here. So what I'll do is I'm going to go and say modify points. I'm going to add a point over here. So everything will slope towards this point. So here I'm going to go and say modify point. So here I'm going to grab this point over here. So that will go up by a certain amount. Okay. This side will go up by a certain amount. Okay. Now what you see, what it does is it slopes the plaster correctly, but it doesn't slope the flat concrete roof. It doesn't slope the concrete roof itself, the slab, but it slopes the plaster, because if you put full balls on here, a flat concrete roof needs to have plaster on that slopes towards an outlet, because you don't want water standing on a flat roof. Okay, so if we went to section, for example, so here, this distance is always going to be, so your minimum screed thickness for a flat concrete roof is always 50 mil. So it's always going to be 50 and it slopes up from there. Okay, because this is a flat concrete roof, what it allows you to do as well, I know it's a slab, and I'm going to select all these external walls. I'm going to say minus by, remember it goes up to level 2, minus by 255, because it terminates to the underside of the slab. And then what I'm going to do is, on the slab, I'm going to give the slab an upstand. And you'll see now, it'll allow me to put an upstand on this roof. Unjoin. It'll allow me to put an upstand around this roof. So let me just see, this upstand is incorrect. So let's delete that. Let's go roof, slab edge. Okay, I just have to adjust the upstand accordingly. And just find the upstand. Just do that again. Slab edge, upstand. I'll go and change it in a minute. So I'm going to put an upstand over here. Just press OK, unjoin elements. Okay, I'm just going to grab this upstand. There should be an upstand in there. Okay, let me just get rid of this reset profile. We can do that later. Reset profile. I'm going to say roof. I'm going to say, slab, upstand. The reason why I use a concrete roof, to see, unjoin element. Okay, so here's an upstand over here. So my upstand, I'm just going to edit type. It'll be quite a high upstand. So let's go to my profiles. I'm just looking for my slab edge upstand. Just go back here again. Edit type. This is going to be concrete upstand. I'm going to say edit type, duplicate, so it'll be 220, this will be 510. Press OK. Right. Okay, so there's my concrete upstand that goes around my roof. Okay, this one is incorrect. It should join the same way. It should, in theory, look the same on this side. I don't know why it's not. It should do. Anyway. So what it means now is if I adjust this slab, so if I go and say edit, so here's my concrete upstand, okay? Now what I want to do is adjust so your plaster will start from there and come down. You might have to reintroduce these as well. So let me just get rid of this. I think this one is wrong, so get rid of that one now. This one's correct. Okay, so that's correct. This one just needs to adjust. Okay, so here I'm going to go and grab my roof. I'm going to add a point in the middle. So put a point, add a point here in the middle. Okay, and then this all slopes. So here I'd say this line will slope up by 50 mil roughly. Let's just say 50. Okay. All right, so from there to there it slopes up. Let's maybe make it a little more. Okay, a general slope for a flat concrete roof is 1/80 from the middle here. Okay, for a flat concrete roof. So we just go and say, play at this point again. Make this 100. That's better. Go to my section. Okay, so what it does is it does make this weird line, but you use a filled region to fix it. But it means that your slope of the slab works correctly. So the function of how this works correctly. What you could also do is go to edit type. You could stop the edge of the slab over here, then make that will also make it join a bit neater. So let's quickly have a look at that. Okay, so here we're going to say edit boundary, and I'm just going to pick the inside of the wall, for example. Align, use my align tool. Doesn't matter at all. Okay, yep. And I'm going to say offset. So you can use an offset here to export it to the exterior side. But you'll just have to bear this in mind. This does get tricky, and having this material. What I usually do is I make another floor that sits on top of here, which then adjusts. So that's how I get around it. Okay, but you can do this technique, but it just means that in section view, you have to go and edit out the, just do this. I think I know why. Yeah, it's outside of the core. This is your core. Yeah, it should be correct. Okay, but here you would have to use like a filled region sometimes. So I make another floor that's plaster that sits above. So there's a whole lot of techniques on how to get around this. Okay. All right, so that's in a nutshell. I'm just going to undo until I get an original roof. Okay, I'm just going to leave this roof in for now. Okay, get rid of my ceilings. Okay, so we've got a basic idea on how we use our ceilings. Okay, how we use our slabs. Sorry, I don't want to close that. Let's get rid of that. Let's put this guy back. Okay. All right. Okay, so then now the last thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to save this for another day, the curtain wall system. Okay, the curtain wall system is purely designed to work with masses. Okay, so if you've got a whole organic mass that you want to put a curtain wall around, that's geared towards working with the curtain wall system. Okay, right, so the next thing I'm going to look at now is steps. So this is the last part of the class. We're going to concentrate on dealing with steps and then how the railings work with steps. Okay. I'm just quickly going to join these two and then overwrite my view. Just as a quick note, interior students, you'll notice that I used, so in my plan here, you can use view, like a view template to drive your elevations, and I'll explain that quickly because if you've got my model, you'll notice that some of the settings are locked, and I'm just going to explain that very quickly. Okay, so for example, let me go to this section here. Because everything's set up to look correctly, so I don't want to keep going to each view and applying the same setting. So what I can do is in this view, I can right click and I can say create view template from this view. So it creates a template, so I can say sections. So this will be my sections, so you can call this working drawing sections going forward. Sorry, lowercase and uppercase. So what this allows me to do, it allows me to select all my sections, for example, and override them very quickly to work in a certain way. So if I go to section 2 now, I don't have to go and set anything up because my viewport, my view template is driving it. However, if I want to change stuff now, you'll see everything is locked. It won't. So if you want to change stuff, you'll have to switch off the viewport setting to none, and then it'll allow me to change stuff on the fly. This is a very quick way to pre-set up. So all my elevations very quickly. I can go and set them up. Yes, the section will still work. If I go to any of my sections now, scale 1 to 50, and everything sets up correctly. Okay. But just remember, if you want to work in that view again, you need to switch off the view template. Okay, just bear that in mind. Okay, let's go to ground floor, and let's go to our section first. So we need to draw a staircase that goes from here to here, from here to here. Okay, so I'm going to start with a single staircase. Let's go to, this is pre-set up. So I'm going to go grab a stair. You get two types of stair. You get an assembly stair or you get a cast concrete stair. So I'm going to start with a typical, and I've built this already. I'll make some more advanced videos with how you deal with stairs. They are tricky. So I'm going to start with a concrete in-place stair at a time. The first thing I need you to do is, which I forgot to do in this template, is switch off this tread because it leaves a 1 mil thing at the top of the tread, which is not necessary. Okay, switch that off. Okay, as a general rule, most stairs in South Africa, 1 meters wide is fine. Typically, you want a rise of 170. So most commercial buildings, the rises should be no more than 170 and your treads should be 250. So that's preset. Okay, press apply. Okay, so now you can either make the stair in one run. So once it's reached the top of the level above, so let me explain this. Let me just exit the command again. Yes, I want to end the command. Let me just quickly, before we start drawing a step, it's going to want to know from where to where. Where does it want to work from? Typically, it goes from floor to floor, but you can adjust it later from which floor you want to work it from. So if you've got a half a landing or it goes up 3 treads, you can say I must go from ground to first. So I'm just going to say for now, just make sure that these settings are kept in place. Yeah, switch that off, press apply, press OK. So here I'm going to go from ground, and it'll tell you, it leaves, you can see when I'm drawing how many I've got left. So I'm going to say from there to there, that's how far I want to go. Okay, and then I'm going to move the staircase against the wall, switch off my line so I know exactly, and I'm going to change my width of the stair to 900 maybe. That's fine. Move this from there to there. Okay, finish my stair. Go to my section. So by default, it will create a railing as well, which it's never nice. I don't like these. And it stops one short, and that's what you want. Okay, so what I could do now is if I go to level 2 and I switch on my underlay, so I want to show the level, the floor level below. So there's a function here where you can say switch on underlay. So here's my underlay. So here I want to show which is on. It should show my staircase, which is strange because my underlay is on. Just say none for now. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make an opening. So what I can really do is I can go and say shaft. I want to create a shaft around the stair, so I can go to level 0 and pick the exterior side of the stair. And the shaft will work from, now that's fine, I'm going to finish the shaft. So I just need to select the shaft now. So go back to first floor, I'm going to select the shaft. Shaft opening. So that shaft, you must just tell it from where it must work. So let's grab the shaft. So this shaft must work from, probably from there to there. Okay. You don't want it cutting everything above. Okay. Yeah, I'll explain that now. I'll show you that in a minute, yes. Now I can move my section through there. And now I've got my stair. And you want it to stop short. You use a filled region to do this connection. They never join. So a staircase will never join to a slab and make a neat connection. They're two separate objects, but in essence, here you're going to have to use some drafting elements to show how this joins with the floor, for example. But here you've got your stair in essence. Okay, in 3D view, here's another neat tool. If you just want to view the steps in 3D, you can very quickly do that. And now I can introduce a railing. So here I can go to railing, railing, and you're going to say place on stair, and you select the stair, and it creates one either side. These railings are not that great, just be warned. I've got a series of them that I can use. Yeah, you would have had to cut the ceiling away. The shaft probably won't cut the ceiling. Okay, so you'll have to create a bulkhead around this to make room for where the stair goes up. So there you would have had to make a bulkhead scenario as well. Here we can pick a series of them. I've got a family that I'll give you. It's full of, I'll upload a, okay. But in essence, that's how that works. Generally, we try and leave a nice gap because your hand has to go through a gap there. So generally, if we select the shaft opening, which it should allow me to select in a minute, sometimes it won't. Go to tab, tab, tab. Now you'll have to go to, there's the shaft there. So edit sketch. Okay, so here you might have to move this again by another 60 mil, this side by 60 or 50. Okay, finish. Because you need the hand railing to go past. Okay. But in essence, if I want this to be a floating stair, I can just say commercial fire escape type stair, unjoin elements. Okay, here I just need to fix how many, but here in essence now I've got a floating stair. Okay, and just remember the stair is going to work. You just need to tell it where to work from. So if I go to level, so if I select the stair now, oh no wonder. So it's going to work from level 0 to level 1, and I'll need to remove, so edit stair, now finish. Let's go to the second floor. There's different types of stairs, which I'll discuss as well. So base offset, this was, no. The stair is hosted on level 0, that's correct. Here I just need to remove edit staircase. There's too many, just make sure the rules are correct. Okay, finish. I just want to make sure that the rules are correct. So here, that's incorrect. So that must be 170, this must be 250. Okay, press apply. Okay, press OK. Okay, now because it created too many rises, I'm going to go and edit stair. So when you edit a stair, if you click this dot, not the triangle, but the dot, it'll remove one riser. Okay, I'm going to explain this a bit more detail now. So this will need to move. Okay. I'm just going to play with I don't think the risers are that great, so let's quickly go and see. So let's say edit type. So here, run type. I want the tread and I don't want a nosing profile. So I switch off the nosing profile. Default. Press apply. There we go. Apply. Okay. So now we've got a perfect, and these do step back. So now I've got a floating step, and this stair will go from there to there. Okay, so that's correct. If I check and it will divide it. Oh no, that stair is still incorrect. Edit type. Yeah, that's not correct. Okay, so we need to change the family. So maximum riser height. So I might have to reestablish the stair. So let's do that. So go to level 1. So here I'm going to go and say step. So I'm going to use commercial interior. Okay, level. And I'm going from level 1. And it says desired number. So I'm going to go from there to there. Just change the width of the stair. Okay. And I'll fine tune it into its location now, and then move that from there to there. Okay, finish. I want to be at this section to move it away, but move this from there to there. Go to this section, that should be correct. I'll move it into its correct location now. Yeah, so that's the correct amount of risers. So this would all be divided accordingly. So it won't be greater than 170. Okay, get rid of the hand railing. Now I've got a floating stair. Then these hand railings, we can make hand railings. But now, in essence, you've got a floating stair. Okay. Just bear in mind, if you want to really customize staircases, sometimes you have to model them in place. Okay, and how these things terminate. Unfortunately, sometimes you'll have to remove that stringer. So you can remove stringers from a stair, for example. So you could just have the floating sections without sections and then model in how the stringers work on the side. Okay, so that we'll cover a bit later as well when things start getting... so here you can remove stringers. So you can say none on the one side and string on the other side. So here you can remove the stringers if you really want to make a real customized. But what's nice is the stair information is working correctly. Okay. All right. So that's what you want. So I've got a floating stair in essence. Okay. All right. Now let's get rid of this. I'm going to make a different type of stair. So I'm going to make a concrete stair again. So here I'm going to go to stair. I'm going to say my in situ. So now I want a stair that's got a landing and then comes back up. So I'm going to start. And here's telling you, you want to try and find the middle. So there's 9, there's 10. I'm going to go in that direction, start here, and then go back in this direction. Okay. All right. Now I need to move this. I want these to match. But you can see here I don't have to because it's worked out perfectly. All right. So I'm going to just move this to the corner of my... just change everything to a meter, 900. Generally, just make sure of the building regulations. And generally, I leave a 120 mm gap in the middle because you want your hand railing, you want comfortable space for how the hand railing wraps around the corner. So I'm going to finish this and I'm going to move the stair into the corner. I'm going to move this. I'll move my shaft now. I just don't want the hand railing for now. We'll get back to that. I'll leave it on for now. So let's move the stair, move this into the corner. Okay, and go to grab this guy. I want this to start on level 1, so minus by 500 level 1. And I want it to go past the level 1 by 500 mil. Ah, come on. 500. Okay, I'm almost done, guys. Edit shape. And then here, I'm going to pull this to that side. And I'm going to cover. Okay. Finish. Okay. You'll need an opening because your head out won't work here. Okay, so you'll need that shaft to go through. So here it will start. So let's grab my section. Let's go to my ground floor. Let's go to this side. Okay, so I'm missing one riser. So let's see how do I add that one riser. So here I'm going to go and say edit staircase. So here, if you grab this point, it'll add one more riser. Oh no, sorry. So the arrow will take from the bottom. So this is how you readjust the pattern. Okay, so here I want these to match. And you grab the dot and it'll add one more riser. So it's one more riser. Okay, but now the pattern needs to change. So I want to try and get the pattern to be more or less equal. One more. Remember, the arrow will kind of get the pattern to equal. So what happens here typically is this stair will finish a bit. So what we tend to do is we put it, what I try and do is make the landing work a bit better here so that your staircase kind of equals up. Okay, so let's just do that for now. So what Revit would have done, it would have adjusted your staircase to... So what it'll do is it will extend the landing on the one side. So just pull this to the one side quickly. So what it does is it extends the landing over here correctly so that you end up with the correct finish. So here I just need to edit this just needs to align to there. Okay, done. So there's my There's my staircase and my railing. Okay, so generally we build up a wall, so that will only be a bar, it'll be like a pipe, for example. That will be, you can make, yeah, just make them both the same. I think that works a bit better. You get the idea. So this one typically will just be like a pipe itself, okay. But I'm going to make a more detailed video on how these work. But in essence, that's how you, if you want to put a railing again, you can delete them all. That's what I'm doing. Tab the railing. If you want to put a railing on a stair, very easy. You're going to go to architecture, you're going to select railing, place and stair, boom. And then you delete the inside or outside, the one that you don't want. Okay. There you've got your inside railing. Typically they'll put a railing along here. So here, for example, there'll be a railing that will go along here. So for example, if I went to railing, railing, it wants me to go to second floor, first floor, and I want to put a railing. So here I'm going to say railing, place railing. So I'm going to say I want a railing from there to there. I usually give this an offset by 50 mil or so from that. Depends on the structure, but that you'll get the hang of. Okay, so I'll go to 3D view. Okay, so this will be a railing to prevent. And then this railing, for example, edit path. So here I want to add a section to it because I want it to okay. I know that some of you are going to be playing with railings. These get quite complicated. I've got a Revit family that I'll give you, a Revit project file full of railings, different types of railings. And I'll give you a demonstration how to make a very basic one. So here I'm going to make only a pipe railing that runs on the wall side. So I'm going to go and say, I'm going to go to place railing. Here I'm going to go and say edit type. And I'm going to duplicate this 900 pipe. So I'm going to say duplicate. I'm going to call it wall. Okay. So this will have a railing here, but it won't have any balusters. So here for balusters, I'm going to say none. Okay, these get complicated, so I'll show you how these work. I might load one in here in a minute, but in essence, I just want a top rail. I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to pick the stair, and I'm going to get rid of this interior one, and I just want to replace this one with my 900 wall. Don't know why I did that. Why didn't no. Apply. Okay, apply. Okay, so this needs to be a circle. So I'm going to pick, I want a circular, a 40 mil circular, press OK, apply, and I don't want any vertical. So here for my balusters, I don't want never. So baluster type here, none, 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 none. Switch that off as well, press apply. Okay, apply, okay. Okay, so and that will be a 60 mil. Usually we make it 60 mil, so I'm just going to quickly edit the family as well. So generally this is a 60 mil pipe, so I might have to change this profile. I might have to add one there. Okay, let me just see what the profile was. 44 mil circular. Let me just say I want to see. It's profile handrail circular. I just want to quickly go and add that quickly. So here in profiles, so I'm going to say new type. I'm going to call this 60 mil. So I'm doing this roughly here. I'm going to go and grab this. I'm going to go and say type properties, and I'm just going to change this to diameter 60. Press OK. Okay, go back in here. Go to edit type. I'm going to say this one. I'm going to say duplicate. I'm going to call this 60. I'm just making a new type, and here I'm going to give it, it's got a clearance height already, that's fine, and here I'm just going to select my 60mm profile, press OK, press apply, press OK. Okay, so there I've got my circular handrail. Now I'm going to show you one last little technique so we can make those little wall fixtures. So I'm going to go and say insert, load family. I'm going to load from the UK, so I'm going to go and find stair railings, and I want balusters. Now I want this wall baluster, so it looks like the ones that you use. I'm going to open that, and then here I'm going to go and say edit type, edit, not that, sorry, I'm going to edit the balusters. So these, you just make up patterns. So you want to say where it starts, for example, so here I'm going to use my little, I think it was this flat upright baluster. Let me just say apply, and it works from top reference, so top reference elements, and from previous, this is every 1000, press apply, press OK, apply, OK. Oh no, it's the wrong family. So let's quickly go and edit that quickly. The type, I should have remembered what family it was. Edit here. So one last little, so this guy was my wall mounted metal, there we go, with brackets. There we go. Apply, okay, apply, okay. Okay, so now you see that they work from the wall. So you're starting to get that look and feel. I just have to adjust the offset from the wall. So here, usually it's about 30mm we offset it from the wall. So here I just have to adjust how this family works, so maybe 45. Then let's make it 60. That's it. Then I've just got to adjust where these work from. So here I'm going to go and say edit type. Edit type. So these adjust, so from top elements, so base offset minus 50, press apply. Okay, in essence, you've just got to adjust where they start from. But you can see now it will make, these would host on that railing every time. So let me just do this one last, edit type. Let me just get it to work correctly. So it works, oh no, sorry, my mistake, 0. This is going to be top offset by 50. Apply. Oh, too much. Okay, if you don't know how the family works, this does take a bit of adjustment. But once you've got it working, it will work like a charm. No? Minus 5. Press apply. You just want it in the center line of that bracket, so maybe even more. Okay. Let's just make this minus 5. Apply. That's better. Edit type. So minus 20. That's perfect. Perfect. Okay, the last thing I have to do, it just has to start. So it will start with 1, for example, and then that meter centimeters. So start post, you're going to say this will be like that. It also top offset, keep it the same, minus 20, and it will, that should work. Okay, so it will start, and your little, here you might have to have a concrete wall, but in essence you can see now I've actually built my railing quite well. And then what it does is, because you've got a railing, you can say edit rail. So what this allows me to do, it allows me to extend the path of the bottom rail. Okay, so I want to extend, so set, I can pick set, I want to pick this wall, for example. Finish. So pick path, I just want to extend the path a bit. So I want to extend the path from there down, and then finish command. Sometimes the path will come down and follow the wall here, so maybe just have a look at that. So edit path. No. Tab until you select top rail, edit rail, and here I'm going to say edit path. I'm going to add a flat piece because generally it'll stop something like that. Okay. I'll go to my section view. Guys, I'll give you more detail on how to do this as well. So here you can see that your stairs actually be done quite well. For example, this will go into the wall as well, your landing. Okay, so now that kind of completes that. Now imagine this stair had to go up a building. So say now your building, you had multiple levels of staircases. So what you can do is you can say select level. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to add levels to this now. So if I went to north elevation and I want to connect levels, I can connect this level now and say finish. If I go to 3D view, what it does is it duplicates the stair over multiple levels and it keeps all the same settings where the hand railing goes. Okay, here you'll have to adjust this, for example. So here I'll have to edit this path. That will have to stop. This will have to stop somewhere over here. So TS. It'll have to do something like that, for example. There we go. All right, so if you had multiple levels, so if this had to be duplicated again, so just say copy, paste to selected level. Sorry, undo, delete. Copy, paste, align to selected level, level 2. And what's great about having a shaft it doesn't want to select the shaft now, so I'll have to go to section view to get the shaft. So this I'll just have to take to that level. Done. And it cuts your roof, eh? I didn't realize that, but it cuts your roof. Excellent, guys. 5-minute warning, that's that. I want you guys to start playing with this, start using these tools. I'll upload this video as well. And I'm going to break this video up into different sections. Okay, so here you can get an idea of how you can create your steps, etc., etc., etc. Okay, guys, any questions? Okay, so just remember this session was recorded. I'm going to stop the recording now. I'm going to stop.